Hello. The image you see behind me was taken at the 1989 Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka International Racing Course, the same circuit we're visiting this evening. The events that led up to the image you see changed the dynamics for team racing in Formula One forever. Whether you're one of the 14 Alain Prost fans living across France and in parts of Liechtenstein, or the nearly 1 billion Ayrton Senna fans living in the civilized world, you likely had an emotional reaction the first time you saw this race. The same elements of team racing you see in Formula One are relevant to the race you're about to watch. What makes the Sim Racing Alliance GT3 Series Challenge different from other weekly racing leagues is that each of the 42 drivers tonight have a teammate to partner with to help fine-tune their strategy. It's not just simply every driver against the world. There are even conglomerates to pool drivers' resources across SRA's 7 divisions. The camaraderie and enjoyment that team racing brings to sim racing has made this home to over 500 drivers. So while I don't figure we're going to see any teammates tangling at the Casio Triangle tonight, but I do expect to see plenty of hard racing for bragging rights across Suzuka's twists and turns. So with that, light 'em up. It's Tuesday night.
Welcome back to the beginning of another Sim Racing Alliance season. It's been a long break, and we're back.
It's been quite a long break, and I think you, me, and everybody involved with tonight's action is super excited to get going.
So they got a straight fight the rest of the night. He's going to have to make a move. That's a Punterino.
Serious pressure from Boostra. Trying to switch on the inside. Sweeney goes on the inside for the defense. Oh my goodness, right in between.
He's going to dive to the inside of both of them. They're going to go 3 wide corner.
And we're off and away for SRA.
Hello, race fans. Welcome to a Tuesday night race event with SRA. Here we are with the division racers again. So glad to have you with us as we take on an awesome classic track tonight in Suzuka. Can't wait to see what these guys have in store for us. It's going to be another awesome night. We'll see if Ed Kerstetter has what it takes. We'll see if anybody has some challenges. There's been some mix-ups on the leaderboard throughout watching this week, so it's going to be a great night. Andrew, what are you seeing out there tonight?
We're at the greatest racing track in all of Asia. We'll show our work later in the program, but guaranteed, we're at the greatest racetrack in the entire continent, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. We also have our friend Josh Dramani with us tonight. Josh, what are you expecting tonight?
I'm expecting a whole bunch of action, as once again we've got Division One, and not only do we have Suzuka, but we have Season Nine's first night race of the season. So, uh, a completely different element to the action. But my only comment to Andrew's best track in Asia comment is Fuji wants to know your location.
Oh, we got some spice already in the broadcast booth. All right, with that, we've talked enough about the track. Let's take a look at it. Here's our track map for the evening. Many of you are very familiar with Suzuka in Japan. It's 5.8 kilometers around, just over 3.5 miles. There's 17 turns crammed in there. Many different aspects to this track. You know, Sector 1's quite a bit different than Sector 2. Sector 3 gets into your very high speed stuff. There's lots of overtaking opportunities on this track. We expect to see much action all around the track, especially with these D1 guys who are not afraid to go side by side. Andrew, where are you expecting to see the most action tonight?
I expect turn 11 for these pro drivers. In that hairpin, that's going to be a pinch point. I think that the 130R is going to be it's going to be fast, and I think that's going to be a place that guys are going to run wide, and there are going to be some chances there. And I don't think any teammates are going to tangle at the Casio Triangle, but people who aren't teammates are going to tangle at the Casio Triangle.
I hear that. It is a place that you want to dive into because there are so many different entries to it depending on how you get your braking. Josh, what are you expecting? What is your favorite spot to watch if you had to go to the track and sit beside it?
I'd be sitting right outside turn 14, because Spoon is one of those areas where you can carry so much speed through, but it is an absolute knife edge to keep the car balanced on the racing line. And as the tires start to fall away, I think that's going to be the critical spot where we'll see battles come to rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Spoon, one of the most challenging and difficult and dynamic corners in motorsport, no doubt about it. All right, we have some drivers in the qualifying server. Our silver drivers have just taken the track, but let's talk about our drivers here. Let's talk about our standings after our first two rounds. We're headed into round 3 here at Suzuka. We have Ed Kerstetter out front with 211 points. He's had a strong showing in both of the first 2 races. Travis Robinson in second place with 160 points, also doing well. Travis Nordstrom had a little bit of a bad qualifying last round, but was able to come back through the field and have a fairly good finish, still hanging in third place, just barely out of second place by 1 point. Michael Manning, Timothy Flanger. And Timothy Flanger is one to watch out for tonight. Last I checked, he was laying down some really fast times. I believe he won the practice race and was about a half second faster on the fastest lap for the practice race. Andrew, who are you looking out there for tonight?
I've got 3 words. Gomer Wilson.
Ooh.
That's the one. Is going to be a new player in town tonight. Just he's in the Audi. He's fast. Just see me in an hour.
All right, beautiful. We're going to flip over to our second page of standings here. Not to forget our other half of the drivers that are in the field. We originally had 46 drivers. I think last race we started 42 drivers in the actual server, and we'll see how many we have for sure tonight once we get started. But there's your other half of your standings. Jeff Spangler is down there in 29th position. He's another one to watch out for. Extremely fast driver, and we'll see if he gets some good times in tonight. Fazli Majid, another one further down in the standings, one to watch out for. Is going to be looking to make some progress back up towards the top. Josh, who do you see in the second page that you think shouldn't be on the second page?
I'd like to divert everybody's eyes to one specific driver. But I also have 3 words to describe this driver, and that's Champion Motorsports. Position number 44, with a whopping 0 points, Matt Lehman. Now, word around the paddock is he doesn't have the most confidence coming into this track, just due to the conditions, but I feel like everybody's fighting that same battle. I'm looking for him to have a resurgent race tonight, get off on a better foot.
Fantastic. Great insight there. And we're going to look at our team standings real quick as our silver drivers are getting things warmed up on the track. Jeremy Mercer and Jordan Nixon and then Drive Bimmer Vroom have taken the lead in the point standings, followed closely by Ed Kerstetter and Jeff Spangler in This Is Beer Madhouse Racing Team with 254 points. Very tight in the top three positions there for the team standings with Comic Racing Sharks, Michael Griffith and Travis Nordstrom very close in third place. We have a lot of teams here that are also, again, very talented. There's guys towards the back. They're going to be looking to make progress. They're going to be leaving it all on the table tonight. What do you guys think? Which team are you going to be trying to watch out for the most?
Yes.
Yeah, all of them, right? We're going to try to watch all of them.
There's teams that have not shown up toward the front yet that tonight, it's like we said last week, you could turn this whole thing upside down, and I would say, sure. You cannot surprise me tonight. But I do think that Kerstetter, Spangler are they have, if there were power rankings, I would say those guys might have overtaken my power rankings for this week.
Absolutely. Great to see our teams battling out. It's close at the top, and we expect others to join the fray. All right, with that, we're going to flip over to our race scene tonight. As we said, it is a night race, so feast your eyes on Suzuka at night. We have our silver drivers out on the course now, and let's see who's laying down some laps. Andrew, I think you have some thoughts for us tonight at Suzuka.
Well, yeah, I said we were going to show our work on the Suzuka being the greatest racetrack in all of Asia. So before these guys get too hot, here we go. I'm going to list all the significant racing circuits in Asia, and I'm going to show you why Suzuka is so much better. There goes there's a Lego Aston Martin in the grass. But here we go. Lightning speed. Baku, designed by he who shall not be named. Bahrain. Shanghai, designed by he who shall not be named. Zhuhai, the Indian circuit, designed by he who shall not be named. Sentul, Autopolis, Fuji. Okayama's not bad. For Fuji, that lower section, that's awful. But Sportsland Sugo, Tsukuba, Korea is defunct, but also designed by he who shall not be named. Losail, that we saw at the Formula One guys at a few weeks ago. Jeddah, designed by he who shall not be named. The Singapore track, designed by he who shall not be named. The Thompson Road course, that's interesting, although kind of old. But it was the Chang Racing Circuit. Istanbul, not Constantinople, designed by he who shall not be named. The Dubai Racing Circuit. Yas Marina, designed by he who shall not be named. Sochi, designed by he who shall not be named. Sepang, designed by he who shall not be named. And Macau. Now I added Macau at the end. That's not really a racetrack. That's more of like Dukes of Hazzard meets lemmings jumping off a cliff. You know, that race is coming up this weekend. I guarantee I'll be watching it, but I'm just watching it to see, you know, how much machinery gets killed. It's just suicide pact to go there. It's not even a racing track. So anyways, and then you've got Suzuka. This is incredible. Old school, I know Honda owns it. They built it for their own testing, only because it's got everything. It's what you do when you build a test track. You put everything in it. Greatest racetrack in Asia. Have a nice night.
Thanks for those thoughts. If you got any counter thoughts, we'd love to hear them in the chat. Stir up a little discussion. Andrew says, greatest racetrack in Asia, Suzuka, right here. We're here tonight. It's going to be a great race no matter what. As I said before, we got our silver drivers out on the track, some of them putting in some decent times already. We're already into the 159s. We got a 159.577 out front, and we got some other guys still yet to put down probably even faster times than that. And remember, this is just our silver division, folks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Macau, however you say it, it's a wipeout course for cars. That's what it is.
A wipeout course, yeah.
Just carnage for
does.
20 minutes with multiple interruptions.
It
and
does
plenty
lend
of
itself to
opportunity
that,
for
doesn't
commercials.
it? Lots of commercial up. That's perfect. That's
Yeah,
what the sponsors want.
It's an advertiser's greatest race.
Perfect.
But yes, some pretty consistent laps out here. A lot of people making subtle invalidations, getting down, like we said, to the 159.5s. I saw some people in Division 1 getting down to 58s. How low do we think that the Silver Division will get?
Yeah, they're already in the 159.5s.
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, definitely some quick times out there. Got Mr. Good out front here already. He's about to finish up his lap coming through the final chicane here. And I think he's got one more attempt left in him. Yeah, he's still got 2 minutes left of qualifying. He will definitely get at least one more lap in here. This will be his final attempt. Let's ride on board with him here as he's your current pole sitter and get a tour around this wonderful racetrack, coming down the main straight, headed into the triangle. And it's such a difficult thing to gauge the amount of trail braking you want to do compared to the amount of straight line braking, but he gets good exit there, powering out to the outside curb, and then it's into the S's. This is all about being smooth, folks. Getting the power down smoothly. Josh, what's your biggest challenge on this track?
Consistency. I tend to find that a lot of this track is similar, and I don't know if anybody else is going to see the same similarity as me. I find it similar to Laguna Seca. If you hit the line, this track has a beautiful flow, and you can go incredibly fast. If you miss the line even slightly, you're done.
Yeah.
With the way that Sector 1 flows from corner to corner, you're going to compoundingly mess up the whole sector. If you miss turn-in points in Sector 2, you're either going off the track, you're unsettling the car, you're possibly causing damage. And then Sector 3 is all about guts. Like we said, Spoon is a very challenging corner, 130R, and then to sum it all up, the Casio Triangle. It's a very simple chicane, but it's also very difficult to hit perfectly.
Very much.
I don't know. That's the way my brain works, but it's consistency for me.
Very much. And speaking of consistency, we have two very consistent drivers setting exactly the same time for pole right now, both with a 1:59.455. Good, who we're riding on board with, and Samito have done exactly the same time, down to the 1,000th in their qualifying right now. And I don't think Good is going to improve right here. But since he set the lap first, he is going to be your pole sitter as it stands right now. There's still a few other drivers out there looking to make headway. Zedler back here in 11th place. He is about a half second up on his lap right now. Andrew, what do you think his chances are in the Porsche tonight?
I think Porsche looks really good. I like the Porsche at this track because the weight distribution of that car. I even took a couple of qualifying laps in that car before the race because I wanted to answer that exact question: is what's different about it? And I really liked it. The S's in the Sector 1, the Porsche takes it better than all the other cars put together.
Yeah, it really does flow through those. Zedler did improve his time there by about 5 positions, up to 6th place with that half second faster lap he just did. A couple other silver drivers finishing their lap as our gold drivers come out and take the track. Lehman there jumping to the 3rd spot with his lap. Very nice lap to finish the silver drivers out. And Fazli Majid also jumping up a spot there. So he pulls over and ends his time. And now a couple other silver drivers finishing. We're going to flip over to our gold drivers and see what they got for us tonight.
Release the hounds.
I bet Schwau's kicking himself after that one.
What was that?
Couldn't find one more 1,000th.
Yeah.
Had to tie him up top.
Yeah, no kidding.
If we're not getting 1/10 splitting the top 5, we're getting a tie and then 1.5 tenths to 3rd place.
Yeah, you notice 3rd and 4th are actually only 2,000ths apart.
I actually didn't notice that. What about 7th and 8th having the same time?
Oh my goodness, these guys are too good. There's only so much speed you can possibly get out of a track, right? And I think these guys are finding just about all of it.
Yeah, just about. And the golds are going to show us what they missed.
Yeah, they'll vacuum up the last scraps, right?
For sure.
So we got guys queuing up at the end of the lap here, about to start their hot laps. Jeremy Mercer is already out on his first hot lap, still getting the tires warmed up, but there he goes.
Just a note for our silver drivers, Matt Lehman looking to aid his recovery drive up to 3rd place at the end of that session.
Yeah, absolutely. Just edging out the Dan Cran there by 2,000ths. I mean, if you get 3rd place by 2,000ths, you still got 3rd place, right?
They don't ask how, they ask how many. Sometimes they ask how, but it's less important.
Yeah.
there's some of these guys that are rated silver. I'm just wondering what planet it is that they're rated silver.
Well, there's somebody has to be gold, right? Let's get a jump on board with Mr. Mercer here as he gets ready to start his first real hot lap. This will be sort of his banker lap. He's finishing out right now. Let's see where he puts it. Doesn't look like he was too outstanding there on that lap. Might have even invalidated. I can't really tell. Doesn't look like he's actually put in a valid lap yet. So we'll see where he ends up on this lap. We'll ride along with him here for a little while and see how he lays it down. Sliding this Beamer through the S's as we watch.
Coming up to probably the most critical corner in all of Sector 1. This uphill left-hander. As you can see, you run all the way out to the edge there and just a millimeter too wide, and you are having a visit out to Barrier.
Yeah, and probably even if you don't go to Barrier, you're probably going to damage the tires on the curbs out there. It's you get off just a little bit, it gets really bumpy.
For sure.
Yeah, let's talk about the hairpin right here. There was talk in the chat about actually increasing traction control there. You know, normally you would reduce traction control because you're in a slow corner and you're trying to get a lot more rotation. But I think that the way these cars are set up for the remainder of the track, that some of the drivers, the speedy drivers, were saying that they needed to actually get a little more traction control there. Because they were over-rotating and they were over-spinning it there. It was actually slowing them down, so they were going up one notch on traction control.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you're competing against one of those drivers, they're probably going to gap you in the straights. Wing setup, hint, hint, hint.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we're not giving away secrets because they're going to blow us all away anyway. So there's no secrets among thieves. They're just bloody fast. But I think that was interesting. I had not. That's not something I would have considered.
Definitely
I thought it was
not.
very interesting that they needed some more. They need to slow the rear tire, the rear rotation down.
Yeah,
I thought that was fascinating. That is thinking above my head.
very much. I have actually turned the traction control down, and apparently I was turning it the wrong way. So we've got some gold drivers definitely setting some laps. Mr. Barrera here has set a new pole time at a 1:59.225. As Josh said, we may very well see some drivers breaking into the 1:58s tonight.
Oh, I think we're going to see 1:58.5.
Yeah, it's going to be
I
quick.
will not be surprised.
These guys are fast, folks. Barrera is actually set for a 1:58 lap right now. He's about 2/10. Oh, he just invalidated, though, unfortunately. He'll get another crack at it. Let's look down to Mr. O'Brien here. He's having a fairly good lap right now. He just set a purple first sector, and he's losing a little bit of time here now, but still up on his lap at the current time.
Now, Vasquez was fast in practice, and he is on an absolute flyer.
Yeah, he's in the picture here.
Very
Right
nice.
in the last corner.
Now, he slowed down a bit, but he's still putting himself... He'll be... Yep.
Very nice. Now, who's flying out there? Who else? Ed Kerstetter is a half second up on his already fast lap of a 1:59.5. So he's set to bring it into the 1:58s if he's able to complete this lap. And we see once again the cream rising to the top, guys. It seems to be a similar story here that Mr. Kerstetter is fast once again.
Michael Manning's right with him. Ed's on a pole time. Michael Manning he's on a time they'll put him on the front row also.
Indeed, very quick.
Just keep going.
Oh, he's losing a little time there, but Kerstetter coming to finish out his lap here as he gets it out of the final chicane and down onto the main straight here.
He's got him cleared, though. He's got him cleared.
Oh, yeah.
Straight to the top. Straight
Half
to the top,
second
baby.
Are we going to see our first 1:59 even? Very great. Great lap.
But he's got two laps to go if he wants the extra.
I'm sure he's going to try to go faster. He is a racing car driver afterwards, after all.
Mr. Sir in the picture-in-picture about to finish his first valid lap of the session. Let's see where that puts him. The Lego-powered Aston Martin.
Checking in with the
Compared to his
chat here.
teammate in 24th.
Very good. Thank you, Josh. Checking in with the chat here. Sorry, guys, if you're having trouble with the stream. Everything looks good on my end, so if call the owners of Twitch and make sure that they know that they're killing our game tonight. And
Jeremy Mercer is just about to dethrone Ed for the pole.
Indeed, he is laying down a very hot lap. Let's jump on board with him here as he finishes out. Going through Spoon. You could make or break your lap right here. Let's see how he does. Oh, he's got a good run down the straight here. He's not losing a ton of time. So,
well, there it is. There's Gomer Wilson at the top.
You called it.
He's got one more lap to go.
And he puts it on pole with our first 158 of the night. Mercer flying through 130R, coming into the final chicane. He's still about 2/10 up on his previous lap, which would put him into the 158s as well. He gets through the chicane without too much trouble. And he's coming down the front straight. Could have a pole time on our hands right here, folks. Indeed, he does. He jumps into the pole with a 158.97.
Gomer Wilson is not there. And I think he invalidated also.
Yeah, it looks like he is on an invalid lap currently.
I think there's plenty of guys finishing laps, but I think we know what the driver lineup's going to look like.
I think we do have our top 2 rows for sure decided at this point, right? There could be some rearranging though. Kerstetter still has a shot at jumping up a position or two, so he's going to be in one of those front 2 rows. And Nixon also is putting in a pretty burning lap right now. Let's go over and look at him in his BMW here. Yeah, he just put up a ton of time coming into the chicane right here. He had a great entry into it. He's up over 3/10 right now. He's losing a little bit of time coming out, but I don't know if he's catching some draft off Kerstetter in front of him there or what, but he is going to put in a burner right now. Where is that going to place him? Sure enough, it puts him in the 2nd row.
There it is.
He's just slowly losing time down the straightaway there. That must have been heartbreaking watching himself go from above the delta needed to just below.
Right.
Jordy Mercer is going to add a little to this, but not a lot. He doesn't need it.
Jordy?
I'm sorry. I did it again. The shortstop for the Pirates, Jeremy Mercer. I'm sorry. Good gosh, that's twice I've done that now. Watching too much baseball. Oh, yay. I gotta send him a 6-pack now, just to say I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm sure he'll forgive you. Kerstetter looks like he's got time for another lap out there. Yeah, he crossed the line and he's got enough fuel. Yeah, he still has a shot at pole here, folks. Let's ride on board with him as he finishes the lap here. Oh, he's getting a good dig out of the chicane. He is currently on spot for the pole right here.
He sure is, and not by a little.
He is smoking this lap, folks. Let's see how well he gets it in there. Sure enough, a 158.765. And there's your standings for our start of our race here in week 3 at Suzuka.
He blistered it.
Beautiful. Great drive. And now we're going to get set up for our grid walk here. And let's see if we can take a look at what is in store for us tonight with these great-looking liveries as we jump out of Ed Kerstetter's car on the pole. We got about 2 minutes to our start. It is going to be a cool race tonight, guys. It's starting off at about 18 degrees. And during the practice race, it cooled off even a little bit more. It's starting at 10 p.m., so as you can imagine, the temperatures drop throughout the evening. Let's walk it down the line here. Who wants to take it away on the call for as we walk down the line?
Oh, you, Josh.
What?
All right, we got Ed Kerstetter on pole here, and Jeremy Mercer took 2nd place. Who's on our 2nd row?
I've got Gomer Wilson, called it, and we have Nixon also in the 2nd row. 3rd row, Peter O'Brien. Koa Dromo's back. We didn't talk about him in the qualifying, but Dromo's back. Row 4, Manning and Nordstrom. Row 5, as we work our way through the very shark-looking Porsche. Barrera and Specht on row 5. Row 6, Spangler and Sir. Sir in the Lego-flavored Aston Martin. Vasquez and Dan Good, next row. They were both fast in practice. Row 8 is going to be Semedo Griffith. Row 9 is going to be Duran and Lehman, who I expect to move forward. Next row, Crown and Dan Cran. Our silver winner last week, Robinson, is on the next row. Ziedler. Danny Durance and Brooker Quigg take up row 12. Next row is Williams and Escorcia. Row 14 is Rustin Majid. I'm getting ahead of myself. Too many screens. There you go. Everybody's getting the lights cranked up.
Yeah, getting the lights on, the car started.
Walker and Simons, excuse me. And we've got Vacchini and Salazar. Steffi Velez as we move on down. And shotgun in the field in the Audi, Stallworth.
Wrapping up our grid. Thank you for that tonight, Andrew.
Absolutely.
As we head out into the darkness of Suzuka. Let's get ready for a great race tonight, folks.
If anybody says it's all the same in the dark, well, they've never been in the dark.
That's true. It's true. I counted a lot on the endurance race practice that I did for this track, and a lot of that practice I did was during the daylight, and boy, did it change things when I got here and entered the practice race Monday night. Had a good time, but there was a spun-out car, came out of nowhere, ended my race for the evening, and things come up on you so much quicker in the darkness.
Well, I think we here in the booth are going to pace ourselves because there's going to be a lot of action, and if we don't watch it, we're going to be gassed by the 30-minute mark. So we want to make sure that we got enough energy to finish this thing because I got a funny feeling it's going to be a lot. So here we go, guys, pacing ourselves.
Yeah. And let me know in the chat if anybody can give me a shout. I'm adjusted some audio settings tonight, so we should have a good amount of engine volume and anything. If anybody can't hear us over it, or if the game is too quiet, let us know and we can make some adjustments.
We have a wager from Patches in the chat on over/under on 4 lap 1 incidents. I'm gonna bet the over on that because these guys are really good, but they're so darn aggressive, and they know good and well they've got to get positions to start this race.
Yeah, it is gonna be aggressive for that first lap. I agree with you on that one.
You can't wait. With these guys, you can't wait.
All right, we are halfway through our formation lap here, getting down towards Spoon as our leaders get things set to go, warming the cars up. Ed Kerstetter out front, followed closely by Jeremy Mercer. They're going to be your front row tonight. I'm willing to bet Ed Kerstetter is going to lead it into the S's. I don't think Mercer's going to overtake him, but I am also going to bet that he's going to try.
There's we got Coach Jeffries in the chat is betting the under, so he's seen the line in Vegas. He's taking the action, but we may not have the camera on Ed Kerstetter after the first lap because he might just leave.
He might just check out. Yeah.
Elvis will leave the building. I'm sadly afraid. So if you want to see Ed, he's on the camera right now. You may never see him again. But then again, it's a lot of competition. If this whole thing gets turned upside down, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. But I got that funny feeling that you should say goodbye to Ed now.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're going to bring up our PIP now, too, so we can hopefully catch both ends of the action. Our main camera's probably going to stay focused on front at first, as Andrew said, but if things get spread out there, kind of like what we expect, we'll try to catch any battles tonight. If you got a driver you'd like us to check in on, shout it out in the chat. We'd love to get all your favorite drivers on the screen for at least a little bit of time tonight. as we come through the final chicane, building up to the start of this night race at Suzuka for week 3 of SRA.
Take it away, babe.
All right, here we go, guys. Get ready for a wonderful, fast, and furious evening at Suzuka here in Japan. We got Ed Kurtstetter coming to the line. Oh, I'm too agitated. I can't even do it. Guys, this is going to be a great race. I love night races. There's the lights on your screen. When they go green, these guys are going to take off. The cars look awesome with all the lights on. And here we go. Starting week 3 at Suzuka. SRA is underway. We got Mercer did make a run from the outside. Kurtstetter is not holding it into the first corner, and sure enough, he falls to second place right off the bat. I'm betting he won't stay there long. They're going to battle all the way through the S's here, it looks like. Kurtstetter is just taking it a little bit easy off start. It looks like maybe even Mercer got a jump on him there. Further back in the pack, it looks like guys are keeping it clean for the most part. We haven't seen any incidents yet. We'll keep an eye on that. But this is definitely not the expected result. I would have lost that bet if anybody had taken it against me.
I stand corrected.
Let's go a little further back in the pack here. See if there's still any side-by-side racing further back. We're focused on Mr. Nordstrom now as he bounces the Porsche through the finishing corners here and gets the right turn headed towards the chicane. Oh, we got a couple of cars wide on the grass. They re-enter okay, though. Still some side-by-side racing as we head down towards the hairpin.
And we got some squirrely stuff there. See, there's so much over-rotating.
Oh, yeah, a couple cars spun in the back there. Looks like Sumito had some problems. Let's take a look back at that here real quick. We should be able to jump back about 20 seconds and see what happened here. We definitely had a lot of cars trying to go into a very small space, so looks like he might have just got spun around back here. Oh no, he spun the Beamer in front of him, and both of them ended up kind of clogging things up for a little while there.
I wonder if he let off the brakes a little bit, seeing that Porsche coming flying in on the inside, just trying to create some room, and ended up sliding a little bit too far.
Yeah, definitely lost some positions, but he is back on the track, and the car seems to be okay. Let's check back in up front. Mercer has led the entire first lap here. After starting in second place, he took the lead from Kurtstetter immediately into the first corner and has held on to it ever since. Kurstetter's about a half second back.
He is stretching that out. As we've had in the chat, it is a BMW sandwich. I think Ed says that's a sourdough bread.
Yeah, he doesn't like that bread.
He's sour about that. But Mercer, not the baseball player, Jeremy Mercer, the race car driver, is stretching it out. And
his teammate Nixon is right there with him. I mean, he's
absolutely.
They're definitely going to team up on Kurtstetter here, and we'll see if he has what it takes to take on 2 BMWs at the same time. Back in 5th place, Michael Manning is still trying to chase down 4th with Gomer Wilson, who maintained his position off the start.
A lot of people
we missed
an early pit stop here.
Yeah, let's see. We're going to look at Rust, Vasquez, Lehman, Cran, Williams. All came in at the very beginning, and they're on their way. So they're going for the extreme undercut. So we'll be watching that to find out where that leaves them. You know, we talk about it every week, that if they're wide open and they're not being held up by the train of cars, you know, their overall elapsed time is going to be so much better. And you may find about 30 minutes in, when everybody else starts pitting, that they have undercut the field and beat the world. We'll find out. We'll cover it, and we'll watch those guys. We know who they are.
Michael Manning is slipped by Gomer Wilson.
Oh my goodness.
While we were having a chit chat there.
Let's see if we can go back and catch that. Yeah, he looks like Gomer got a little bit wide there, and he was able to get inside of him. And Spoon, sure enough, overtook him coming into the straight on the back.
You know, Josh talked about the Spoon, and that's one of those corners, as you're watching it on TV, or you're watching it on the stream, you'll never know when somebody is slower than they should have been, because you just can't see it by looking at it. But if you're driving it, you know when you've lost time, and that's a place.
Looking around the outside of Kurtstetter at turn 1. Oh my! They bounced off each other. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Way to cut in. That's great action.
Almost big action from our podium sitters.
Kerstetter's taking a defensive line into T1 here, and looks like
When you've got
Nixon
that
gets
going
outside
on
of
this
him.
early in the race, that's a serious challenge.
Yeah. Wow, going too wide, and then he tries the over/under a little bit, and they touch just a little bit there at the middle of the corner, but both kept it very, very safe, and didn't lose too much time to the leader either. So it's going to be an interesting battle here for the top spot.
Yeah, there is no spoon. There, yeah, that's not right. But now, if I'm right, the 720 is carrying a little bit extra weight. Seems like it's 20 kilograms.
Yeah, there is the BOP adjustment that SRA has just instituted for the first time this season, and I believe you're right. It's 20 kilograms on the McLaren. Does anybody? What is the Beamer carrying? Is it carrying any extra weight?
I don't think the Beamer's
give
carrying.
everybody a quick update.
There you go. We have been.
BMW has a 10 kilogram weight reduction.
Oh.
Yeah.
McLarens have an added 10 kilograms.
Okay.
Hondas get no change. Audis have plus 10 kilograms. Lamborghinis have plus 40. They got a little hungry this weekend. Mercedes drivers got an extra 10 kilograms. Aston Martin drivers lost 10, as well as our Porsche drivers. And that rounds out this week's BOP.
Thanks so much, Josh. That's good info.
Lamborghini drivers have 40 bags of blow in the passenger seat. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, they got hungry for Thanksgiving, I think, and just packed a few pounds on. I stole that one from the chat earlier.
Oh, that's what the Ferrari's plus 40 as well.
Yes, good catch.
Do we have any Ferraris in the field?
I don't think there are any in D1.
Not a one.
We got a close battle here with Durant's coming into first corner. He's peeking down the inside on Simmons, and decides not to do it there, but he's going to stay close here through the S's. We'll see if he can make a challenge later on in the lap. Looks like Gomer Wilson lost some spots up front, too. It looks like he must have had an incident up there. Let's see if we can catch what happened here. Oh, he took some curb on the inside there and got wide through the S's out into the gravel. And looks like he lost about 4 or 5 spots there, down to 10th place. Unfortunate, but it looks like he gets the car back on the road safely.
Looking for a safe spot to rejoin.
Some agricultural driving there. Good job, Danny.
It's a Audis do have a rally history, so it should work out for him.
I was going to say first Mercedes, now Audi with lawnmower development. Bottas gave them the idea.
Yeah.
Now, Gomer Wilson in the 195 has slipped down to 10th.
Yeah, that's who. Yeah, we were just checking that out. That's who went off there.
That's right. That wasn't Danny. That was Gomer.
Yeah.
Matt Lehman looks to have spun off, so his early pit stop is going to end his race. Got the replay running in the picture-in-picture right now.
Okay, great. Yeah. Let's check out what happened there in the POP. Oh, just lost it going into the first corner.
Damn.
Yep.
Looks like he had to correct an oversteer moment. Looks like he started to get some oversteer and tried to countersteer, and it just snapped back on him. And luckily, he kept it out of the wall there, and looks like he's able to continue. We got a battle here with Duran fairly close, and further back up front, it looks like Barrera is mounting a challenge on O'Brien. He's thought about peeking on the inside there. A little bit twitchy coming into corner one. And he'll follow through the S's here. Let's jump on board real quick and see what it looks like trying to get around one of these hefty Lamborghinis as he tries to throw it through the S's and gain time.
You can see some white powder coming out the passenger window there.
It gets lighter as the race goes on.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
It's not just fuel burning out of that car, folks.
Absolutely.
Notice how the car gets a little
he gets
more
wide.
Woo!
That was a scary moment.
They reached in for another handful.
Yeah.
Brown.
And then out front, peek back in. Kerstetter is still staying that under a half-second gap to Mercer, and I just got to imagine Mercer is sweating in that car.
manning on Nixon. Looks like he is all over him.
Yeah, he's on him as well. It looks like Wilson and Quigg back here as well are swapping places back and forth. They've been side by side through a few corners now as I was watching my monitor, and eventually Quigg does take 10th place away from Gomer Wilson. It's very possible Wilson has a little bit of tire damage after going off the track that hard, but we'll continue to monitor his progress.
Yeah, he may have to clean those things off. So I've got Vasquez is parked on the side of the road.
Oh no!
Vasquez he was one of the fast guys in practice, and he is currently stationary.
Oh.
And he is now retired, I believe.
Oh
he
no!
has retired.
Yeah.
I noticed my microphone muted.
But it had some technical difficulties there, and it looks like Wilson has taken this opportunity to pit and perhaps collect his thoughts after having a few scary moments there in a couple of laps, and realized he was losing positions, and he might just take a reset here. I'm going to go back to our leaders. Kerstetter is just making the gap as small as he can towards Mercer, and I got to imagine Mercer's feeling that pressure.
Does Jeremy hear the Jaws soundtrack about now?
Yeah, we won't see Ed making very many mistakes trying to get closer to him, but he does seem to be having to press pretty hard. Let's jump on board and see what the back of that BMW looks like as it gets closer here through the hairpin, and they do get out onto the loud pedal, down the long straight, headed to Spoon.
If I recall right, Nixon was on the podium last week as well, so yeah, the cream has certainly risen.
Definitely. The rest of the field's fairly spread out. We do have another close train back 14th through 17th that we're going to keep our eyes on back there. The rest of the field is fairly spread out, especially with those early pit stops kind of moving people out further around the track. You can see the track map on the right side of your screen. It's got cars on almost every part of it. Seems like Kerstetter lost some time through Spoon that time. It was a pretty large gap, but then Mercer gets wide in 130R, and he brings it right back.
See, in the Spoon, you just can't tell by watching when somebody's lost speed. But if you're in that car, you can certainly tell when you've dropped some time, because you feel when you got squirrely.
Oh yeah, you know it.
But it just unless you visibly see somebody completely miss the apex, it's hard to tell what's really going on until you watch the timing screens and see everybody start moving around.
Oh, looks like we got a yellow flag back here with Salazar. Wow, he's into the wall pretty hard. Let's take a look back and see what happened to him here. He's coming. Where is he? Where is he right here?
Yeah.
Get my bearings.
130R.
Okay, into 130R. Yep. Oh, and just lost the back end.
Settled.
Oof.
Caught the inside corner.
Wow.
Oh,
That's a hard
a
hit.
big one.
Let's see if he's able to continue here. He is going to head to the pit lane. Looks like he probably has some damage on that car, I would imagine, after that impact. See if he decides to repair it or if he just decides to drive it out. Definitely going to lose some time on that one.
Yeah, I think we had a mention in the chat a few minutes ago that the Spoon is more like a spork, and I will agree to that. And Brian Anderson has mentioned it's more of a spoont. Spooner do not spoon.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
There's no there's a dose of 130.
Third 130R into a 580R. That's beautiful. That's great quote.
Absolutely. Well,
I think I saw Tony Hawk do one of those once.
Now, I think that we may be seeing more of that late in the night when these tires start getting a little bit of degradation and it'll be cold. And I just think that that inside curve is going to catch somebody napping. I don't think Salazar is the first or the last. Well, he's the first, but he won't be the last.
Yeah,
it's coming.
130R is definitely dangerous like that. It can catch you sleeping. We got a close battle here, as I said, for 14th through 17th. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
It's just that's the corner you hope is 130.
Yeah, and not more degrees of rotation. Yeah.
Good call, Jumpy.
Did we catch Gomer Wilson getting a drive-through?
Oh no, he must have messed up on his pit or something, because he came in for that pit stop to try to reset.
I've got Stallworth as a yellow flag, and then he's fine.
Okay.
That must have been That must have been a
Just a
minor
slow
off.
moment.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
it was the speed difference between him and Vicini, who was headed to the pit lane, and that sometimes can throw up a yellow flag in our monitors. So
Vicini is pitting.
indeed,
He is in.
he's in, and I did confirm that Salazar did repair that damage. He's been in the pit lane for quite some time. We'll see if he decides to even continue tonight.
He's
But back
he's
to
out.
he's back out on the track. Excellent.
Good
We
job, baby.
are back on our leader here. Ed Kerstetter has closed the gap back down to Mercer as he's very close to him, headed down towards the hairpin right here.
You know, Mercer and Nixon are impressive enough the way it is. It does not surprise me. But boy, they are putting all the heat on they can. What a display.
No doubt. Kerstetter trying to get a good run out of the hairpin down towards Spoon. It does look like he is getting a pretty good run on him. If he gets a good run through Spoon, he may be able to mount a challenge into 130R. And boy, will that be exciting.
We have not talked Peter O'Brien, who's driving a Lamborghini and a half, but he's holding serve in fifth. He's not really bothering anybody. He's just far enough back. He's got a second back to Barrera, but he's in kind of a happy spot. You know, nobody's really going anywhere. He's got him in he's got line of sight on these guys. He's only 3.5 seconds off the overall lead. I think he's in a very comfortable place. So is Barrera, and also very impressive Coedromo, who's had a easy for y'all to say.
Couple
Couple of weeks. He had a ruffle. He had a rough couple of weeks, and here he is hanging on the 7th place and having no troubles at all. Jeff Spangler, rough couple of weeks. He's in 7th. So there's your two comeback stories are top 10, and they're flying.
Very nice, very nice. Thanks for that summation there, Andrew. Ed Kerstetter got super loose coming into the S's, but somehow still maintained the gap to Mercer. I don't know how you can get a car that sideways and maintain that kind of speed, but he did it, and man, he is just hunting for a spot to get around that BMW.
So apparently we have a Honda that's going around.
Yeah, I was waiting for my opportunity to interject. While we were talking, like a minute and a half ago, Dom Duran spun around, got a little loose in Sector 1. Looks like he just got loose again and has elected to retire from the race.
Oh, no. Well, some nights you got it, folks. Some nights you don't. Looks like Robinson has elected to take his pit stop as well. We were talking before the race, we should expect about a 35 to 40 second pit stop time loss. And that's what we're seeing now from the guys that have pitted. The guys with the standard pit stops taking about 36, 37 seconds that they're going to lose in actual track time. So that's about the gap we're looking at. Oh, we got a car stopped on the course here. Stallworth has pulled his Audi over.
Sir.
Yeah, that is not a good place to park. He has now reset to the pit lane. Not really sure what happened there. Perhaps we can go back and see.
Yeah.
It looks like he got wide in the hairpin and then just pulled over. Might be having some technical issues. Maybe his pedals broke. Maybe his wheel disconnected. It's hard to tell.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Very hard to when that kind of stuff happens in a race.
Yeah, at least he was able to get to a safe spot.
Yeah,
in a very unsafe spot.
Yeah, he did not take anybody else out with him, which is always a benefit. If you'd hate to see it when you have an equipment malfunction and it results in ruining somebody else's race and not just yours.
So he may not have had a chance to get it any further out of the way. So Robinson's in the pits.
Oh, Jumpy Whale thinks the Audi engine gave up the ghost.
Maybe it was an Indy, not an Audi. Oops, I missed you. Sorry about that.
What'd you say, Josh?
Let all the magic smoke out.
Yeah, all the magic smoke. Right now we're looking at Barrera, who is in 6th, and he has been chasing down O'Brien here for most of the race. I believe that's right in the. I'll double check here before I misspeak, but Barrera has moved up 3 positions since the beginning of the race, and he's looking to make it 4. if he can get around O'Brien here, who has stayed in 5th position since his qualifying position, getting him there. And Michael Manning is also pushing up the back of this front pack here. Being very quick again in that Honda. We saw him quick at Olton, and he is quick again here at Suzuka.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in very stealthy fashion, I'm going to keep my eyes on O'Brien and Barrera. I think they're being very stealthy. I don't think they got enough to win this thing, but I think they're going to like where they finish. They're going to gobble up a lot of points here if they just keep it together. But I think they're really sneaky, and anybody makes a mistake, I think they're looking to move up. It could be a good night for those two guys.
Absolutely. We got
watch Koa behind them.
Yeah, and we've got a great top 10 is still anybody's game right now. There's a lot to play for up there, and for the most part, they've kept the gap pretty small. Kerstetter is getting a run into T1 here. He seems to be able to close the gap through the S's, and then through the second half of Sector 2, oftentimes he just can't seem to get a move made. So let's see, follow on here. See if he can get anything done this time. Let's take a look again from his point of view. I'm going to ride in the passenger seat as he throws this McLaren through the S's.
Look how smooth that is. It doesn't look that way when I do it.
I can't get it that way either.
There's only
like
one explanation.
Talent.
Fairy godparents.
Oh, do you think? It's in the genes, huh?
Some of those guys.
In the genes.
Yes. Manning almost pulled a Latifi at the chicane there. It's getting sweaty.
No doubt about it.
So
here.
The top 18 have stayed out. Travis Nordstrom is the first of the pitters. He is clean and green in a straight fight to the end of the race.
Yeah, and he might be in a very good position with that, depending on if these leaders start to battle. If this top 4 pack start to get some side-by-side racing, they're going to lose some time. And these guys that pitted early that have had some clear track, they're going to continue to set down those fast lap times, and we could see them emerge and be challenging for the lead at the end.
Escoria and Simons have had a swap of positions in 14th, 15th.
Yeah, that's the battle going on in the picture-in-picture there right now. They went wheel to wheel into Spoon. It was a great battle from both of them. Simmons got real loose on the exit, but kept it together, and I think they're going to hope to try that again. But Durance is sitting just behind, waiting for a mistake.
Fantastic. Thanks for the coverage on that, Josh. I'm going to stay with this front battle as Kerstetter continues to look for a spot, but that BMW on the straightaways seems to have a speed advantage, and that's, as we talked about with the BOP, the BMW has 10 kilograms taken out, the McLaren has 10 kilograms added in, and that's probably the speed that we're seeing down those straightaways. Makes it real hard for Kerstetter, even if he gets a great exit, to have enough speed to overtake coming into the next corner.
So the top 3 is really down the top 4. Michael Manning is in that. He's in that picture now.
Absolutely.
And meanwhile, back at the motel, O'Brien and Barrera have actually sucked up to this crew a little bit. So this train is becoming not so terribly disjointed anymore. So we're at 36 minutes to go. Does somebody know where the traffic is at for the pit delta, and is somebody going to try to undercut, knowing they're going to have some free track? The only way for these guys maybe to make a move might be the undercut. Wouldn't surprise me if somebody outside that top 3 starts doing interesting things.
Absolutely. That it is a good call, and I wonder if any of these guys utilize at this level. It would not surprise me if guys had a spotter of sorts. People that were able to join the server, even in the same fashion that we are, and watch that kind of stuff for him. Say, hey, you got a good gap. That's 35 seconds back. Why don't you pit now and you'll get some free track? And that would be extremely advantageous for somebody at this level of racing.
Yeah, you'd have to be at this level of racing, but like last week we had Ed Kerstetter pitted late. He had a 54-second lead, and everybody else behind him had pitted, and I don't think there's any way he could have known the pit delta was 51 seconds. And he ended up pitting at the end and sliding right in front of everybody else, just like the script drew it up. But we were able to watch it and see it. I don't think he possibly could have known it unless he had somebody watching for him. But he did it as if he knew everything that was about to happen, and it was beautiful to watch. I'll bet it's going to set up. We're going to see the same thing tonight. It's just who are we going to see it on?
Absolutely. Those pit battles in these GT3 races seem to be, as the race wears on, that's where we're going to really see the battling going on, because GT3 cars are just so evenly matched. It's very difficult to overtake on track unless there's a mistake by the driver.
For sure. Just a comment on our pitted and non-pitted drivers. Travis Nordstrom is very quickly putting himself in the mix to be ahead of our lead drivers after pitting.
Yeah, he's only about 38 seconds back from our leader. And as we said, it takes 36 to 37 seconds when you hit the pit lane with a perfect pit stop.
He has been climbing in gap, or decreasing the gap to the leader each time he gets himself in free air, and he's once again coming up for another overtake. If he can make this one quickly, Velez's 37 has been teetering 36.5 seconds. That's going to leave a big window for Nordstrom to fill, with 15 seconds in clear air in front.
Travis cannot be held up by him. Now, Travis, the last lap, he ran the fastest lap on the track by a tenth or so, and Nixon ran the same time, but he's not losing anything to the leaders.
Yeah,
and you're right, Josh. He might slide up into the top 5, but he can't be held up. He's got to make this pass.
Yeah, Velez is there in front of him. Velez is a silver driver. Now, he's not obligated to pull over or anything like that.
Makes the move
and he
immediately.
Wow.
Jumps straight to the inside of the Casio triangle. You open the door, I'm coming through.
That if gap car, right? I mean, that was like, holy smokes. Let's go back and look at that one, folks, as he sets this one up out of 130R.
The way his front end just...
Just jumped in there, took a ton of curb, and got the overtake done onto the front straight. Well, Andrew, you called it. He didn't have time to wait.
No, he absolutely had to go, and that's what these guys do. That's what you see at this level. You see guys that know what the heck they're doing.
And as Josh, you pointed out, there's now he's got a 15-second gap of free air in front of him. He can do nothing but hot lap. And if he continues to do that and set down the lap times that he's been setting down, he will be in the lead position once our leaders pit.
Yeah, the data says 35 seconds, but I think that is if a robot were to make the pit stop. These guys are pretty good, but I think what we've seen the last couple of weeks is you got to tack on a second or two. So we're going to call it 37 seconds. Right now, Travis Nordstrom is 37.345. So he's a half second off the lead, which puts him right in the middle of this gaggle.
Yeah.
We have not seen the word gaggle, but we have promised every week to use the word gaggle and kumquat.
You got it done.
We're 1 out of 2. He's gonna gaggle himself in a minute.
Yeah, our fastest pit stop in our monitors is a 36-second pit stop set by who? Travis Nordstrom. And now he has used that to his advantage. There's only one other guy out there that was able to get it done with 36 seconds. So that's absolute, I think, if you're doing perfect time, that's what you're going to get as far as time lost on the track. And therefore, if any of the leaders lose any time in there, he's already got them.
If I were Ed, I would come into the pits. It seems pretty clear, to me at least, that he is faster than Mercer if he gets in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And before he chews into his tires, he should go get himself into an established gap.
Absolutely.
Well, is he thinking?
Because they're falling back to Nordstrom at this point because they're all so close together.
He doesn't know that though, unless he's got somebody in his ear. I just don't know that. I just don't know he can know that.
I'm trying to think. Who's Ed's teammate?
Bangler.
Okay, so that's only P8. That's not far enough down.
Nah, I don't know that he can know that. But now Ed might be thinking, all you gotta do is win the race. You don't have to lead a whole bunch of laps. He might be just sitting thinking, I can wait till I want to pit and make my move then. But I don't know if he wants to risk being undercut. I don't know if he's just sitting there on the prowl. It's not really a NASCAR race where you can kind of sit and ride around and just say, well, gee, I only got to beat him on the last lap. Interesting. I'd love to know what he's thinking, and hopefully we get a chance to ask him after the race what's he thinking. I don't know if he can pass him if he wants to, or if he's hanging on for dear life, or if, as Josh says, he's got plenty of speed in there and he's being held up.
Michael Menning throws a yellow flag from P4. Just off a little bit at 130R. That was a definitely heart and mouth moment for the Menning fans.
Ooh, scary moment in 130R. Anytime you get wide there, let's go back and take a look at it here if we can.
Well, that's the question. I think he got a DT last night in the practice race.
He's way out there.
What a big slide. Holy cow.
That was a hairy moment, folks. I can tell you, if you were in that car, you'd have to change your pants.
Now that's Dukes of Hazzard. Meets Lemmings jumping off a cliff. Yay. That was that's car control. But I think he got a DT last night in a 30-minute race, so that's going to be an off. Wondering is he or anybody else
on the board? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's one statistic that we can't see is how many off-track limit violations they have. Focusing real quick here on Brooker Quigg, and he has stayed steadfast here in this 10th position, second in the silver standings, with Good out in front of him, but he has been pretty close to that BMW for quite some time. Again, that BMW just seems to be so strong in a straight line with that 10 kilograms taken out of it. It's very difficult to overtake.
Yeah.
Ooh, so close through that hairpin.
Ooh. Oh. They make me nervous. Yeah, the longer this goes, now that we're after halfway, the more I'm thinking that somebody in that top three has got to make a move.
They do, and maybe the move is, like Josh said, maybe the move for Kerstetter is to pit. He does seem to have some pace, and it does seem like certain parts of the track that BMW kind of gets in his way and doesn't let him run it out like he could. And he keeps peeking offline, as you see right there. He kind of takes a look to the inside. That upsets your racing line. He could benefit if he found a gap, but he has a hard time doing that. It's very difficult to look back through your standings and pick a gap while you're trying to drive. I would say it was almost impossible at Olton to do because you don't have a half a second to even look at anything other than the track on that track. Here you got some straightaways you could possibly take a look, but even then, it changes so fast. It's so difficult to pick.
Yeah, I stand corrected on that McLaren taking off into the sunset. The BMWs are fast, but those two drivers are also very fast. I think I will stand corrected on writing anybody off before the race. So I think I'll have to send out some Christmas cards on all of that.
Flipping back to Nordstrom here for a second. Now, he was our first race winner. Is that right?
I think
was indeed. He finished right ahead of Ed.
Right. And I'm thinking at this point, my money would be on him to win this race.
He's hanging in at 36.5 seconds off the overall lead. And so he has a first and a sixth.
Yeah.
So it puts him second in overall points. And so
2 firsts in a drop race sounds a lot better to me.
Yeah, 2 first places. Yeah, right. But so, you gotta have bathrooms hanging over your head for the whole season. That could be a drop for anybody.
Now he's sneaked up to second away from Crown, who's the last driver not to pit, which is the first 13 now have not pitted. So Nordstrom's going to be in the same position in a minute. When he gets to Crown, he does not have time to waste.
I'm going to correct you there. He's actually 15 seconds back from Crown. Crown's a second behind the guy in front of him.
I saw the wrong ones. He's free and clear then. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, he's got clear track. He can lap how he wants to. He's lapping in the low 2 minutes.
First is into the pits.
Oh, he does. He decides to pit. Let's take a look at this, folks. See how long he stopped for here. If he does this perfectly, he still has a shot. But I'll tell you what, right now, he's slotted to come out behind Travis Nordstrom.
Nordstrom is the car in your picture-in-picture.
Oh, he hit his box perfect. He's
down and away. His stop time was exactly 5 seconds.
Yep.
So he did that part perfectly. If his entry and his exit were also had got the speed right, he will have.
This could be tight at turn 1.
He did exactly a 30-second time loss. So the same as Nordstrom. Nordstrom's coming down the front straight, and he takes it into the first corner.
Oh, you guys called it.
That might be for the lead of the race right there, folks.
Now, I will say the Porsche's not as good at defending as a big fat BMW can be, but this is Nordstrom's race to lose now.
So, does Team BMW have to respond?
Yeah, they're still out front. Now, the teammates could get nose to tail and even gain a little bit more speed, possibly, if they're able to increase each other's draft a little bit down the straights. It's difficult to do with the GT3 cars. They don't gain that much from being close to one another, but they can work together and can put some hot laps together up front there. They still got a shot at maintaining that lead.
Yeah, that Porsche does get out. See, like right here, should be getting a really good exit out of that hairpin, and also he should be getting a really good exit out of the spoon.
Yeah, I know.
It's got so much grunt on it.
Absolutely. I know in the practice race, there was numerous people that were commenting on Selena getting out of spoon in that Porsche, and it was just, I mean, it's just a rocket ship coming out of that corner. Here we're going to see it again, where Nordstrom, well, hold on here though. Kerstetter's challenging down the straight into 130R all over the track. But they tuck in beside each other again as they enter 130R and come into the chicane. Does he duck inside? Nope, he keeps it behind him for another lap. But this is possibly fighting for the lead of the race right here, as everybody else is in front of them still has to pit.
Well, we've got a straight fight on our hands, don't we?
Yeah.
So right now we got 2 fights. We have teammates on one side of the track, and we've got the 20 and the 1 on the other side of the track. Told you, pace yourself, guys. It's going to get spicy and sweaty.
No doubt.
It's already spicy and sweaty.
Absolutely. In the chat, their comment on the same thing we are is that Ed was really hoping for some clean air when he pitted, and instead he came out and has the back end of a Porsche right in his face.
He's had no relief the whole race, and he's got work to do. But speaking championship-wise, he's got a first and a second, so he's still in the catbird seat.
Absolutely.
Quick shout-out to the Room Raiders here from New World Sim Racing and all 19 of you who hopped in.
Hey, welcome, guys. Checking out our round 3 action for SRA, a night race at Suzuka here, an hour-long race. We got about 20 minutes left.
And you rated a good one. Jump in and have some fun with us, as you've got two races at hand, and a whole bunch of stuff in between. And I hate that for all the guys we're not talking about. I mean, Dan Good, Samedo, Majid, Crown, Nate Specht, all these guys are racing their guts out, and they just don't happen to be in the crazy battles we're looking at. We see you, and actually it's a good thing. If we're not seeing you, that means you're having a smooth race. I like the stealthy race myself, but there's just too much spicy stuff happening for the overall for us to even begin to get our cameras off of that.
Absolutely. Barrera is still holding this gap tight to O'Brien for 4th and 5th place. Crown is on the back of Fazli Majid, fighting for a top 10 there. And then right behind them is obviously the battle we were following, where Kerstetter is trying to overtake Nordstrom for what will end up probably be the lead of the race, as everybody in front of them still has their mandatory pit stop. Back for a little further, Simmons and Zedler battling for 18th spot.
Well, let's just take a look at the lap times. Last lap, Mercer ran 2 flat .687. Kerstetter ran a 660. Nordstrom was even faster at a .452. So they're essentially running all the same speeds. Nixon ran a .935. He slipped back a little that lap. He'll be back the next lap. So, but we're looking at Barrera, Drobo, Spangler all running sub 201s. Good gosh, that's fast after all this wear on your tires.
Looks like Durant's lost a position to Escorcia here. Take a look at what happened. Oh, he got wide into T1 again there, it looks like, and he just kind of drove around on the inside of him.
Good pass.
Took advantage of it. That's what you got to do.
Dan Cran is 24th in the Audi. Running a very, very, very clean, very middle of the pack race.
Indeed.
Let's see, it's tough to get our cameras on. I got Chris Stefiuk, Velez, Lehman still back toward the back, but they're having, Lehman had some trouble and Salazar had some troubles.
Yeah.
But these guys, it's love you guys. Tonight, y'all are running pretty stealthy, and we got spicy, sweaty stuff happening.
Kerstetter's got to run into 130R again. He doesn't decide to dive in there, but he could try to dive inside. It looks like Nordstrom takes a little bit of a defensive line coming into the chicane. Oh, still doesn't dive inside, but looks like he might have a run down the front straight too. He may try it into T1.
Did that Porsche get squirrely in the triangle?
Just a little bit, but boy, he still gets that Porsche just takes off out of those slow speed corners, and there's no catching it. He comes up on him quick through this corner, though, doesn't he?
I tell you, Mercer from the lead just ran a 201-125. He can't do that again.
Yeah, that's too slow.
You can't do it.
It's hard to believe that a 201.1 is too slow to maintain the lead of a race at Suzuka. But
Barrera and O'Brien touching the hairpin.
oh my goodness, let's take a look.
Barrera, they're still wheel to wheel.
Still side by side. They touched a little bit, but there's still some live action racing. I don't know if you can go back and grab that replay, Josh. I'd love to see that in the PIP.
Those guys need points.
They bang together again, coming into Spoon, and that's going to push O'Brien off the track. He's going to end up losing 2 positions out of that.
Koa Dromo moves through. Great race for Koa.
Yeah, he takes advantage of some battle into the positions in front of him and just pounces on it.
Those 3 guys all need points. I don't care if it's 4th, 5th, or 6th. I think those guys need just to make sure that they get the points they got coming to them for a great race. We're coming up. We're just past the 18-minute mark remaining in the race, so it's beginning to need to take shape. The thing left is we got to know when are the BMWs coming in, and Mercer just ran a 201 flat, and Nixon right behind him 201 flat, and
compared to Nordstrom's running just under that, so he's making up time on him. Even behind that, Mr. Sir is setting himself up for a possible 3rd place, running a 2-minute .8. He's running faster than the leaders.
Yeah, he's a little bit behind though.
Yep, just a little bit behind him. Yep.
Please, will the BMWs just please pit so we can find out what we're dealing with?
No, we're going to save it till the end. It's like building the suspense.
We are, aren't we? I'm already out of patience. I want to know what we're dealing with.
Let's take a look back at Mercer up front. Here he is just doing his lap times, and his teammate is not giving him any trouble. I'll tell you what, it makes a big difference when you know it's your teammate behind you. You know he's not going to do anything silly and try to dive inside you for a last-minute gap or anything like that. And you can just relax a little bit and run your race. Unlike what we're seeing back here with Kerstetter and Nordstrom, who are going to be at each other's throat for this, I think at this point they may even have sorted it out that they're battling for the lead right here.
And Kerstetter just ran an 852. Just trust me, if we say 852, trust me, it's a 2 flat. 852.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if there's an extra second added to it. You're at 852, but it was invalidated. So wondering, are we getting to the witching hour for drive-throughs?
Could be. Now remember though, every an invalidated lap doesn't necessarily result in a track cut warning. There can be just you're wide, but it says you didn't gain any time from it, so it doesn't result in a violation.
Well, check it out right there, just as y'all talked about, and the guys in the chat talked about. That Porsche in the hairpin just grunted his way right away from Ed Kerstetter.
Absolutely, he's got a large gap. Kerstetter gets a little loose coming out of Spoon too, and it looks like Nordstrom's going to put even more time on him, headed down to 130R here. Although maybe not. It seems like he's got the speed gap on him. It seems like that Porsche, once they get up to the higher speed, the McLaren starts to reel it back in.
It's too much to watch.
Jumpy Whale's saying that both of them top out at 262 without the draft, but so does that mean that would mean Kerstetter with the draft would be able to go faster than that behind him, right?
Well,
Pat O'Brien's pitting.
There's one. Now Nixon just ran a 560.
Yeah,
it's the fastest
fast
we've
lap.
seen in a while.
And they may be pushing the last little bit here to getting some hot laps before they hit the pit lane. They got to do it sometime in the next 15 minutes. So this is one of those you don't want to leave too late, because with this 2-minute lap time, you could suddenly find yourself outside the pit window and have not gotten your mandatory stop in.
And here we go with Nordstrom and Kerstetter ran a 577 and a 605. And
the answer.
They are 35.4 and 35.8 seconds behind. And I think that pit stop is looking a lot like 36, if based on what you're saying. So we may end up with a battle royale and somebody coming off the top rope. By the time this thing is over, oh boy.
Let's see if
our two races are about to become one race.
Yeah, let's find some spectacle here. If we get Mercer, Nixon, Nordstrom, and Kerstetter all together again for the final few laps, it's going to be one heck of a race to settle it out. There's not too many other tight gaps on the track. We do have Durant's back here has continued to stay close to Escorcia as he let him through when he got a little wide through T1. But Rust is staying right there behind him, just waiting to see if either one of them make a mistake. That's about our other tightest battle on the course. If anybody in the chat wants to see one of your drivers on screen, go ahead and shout them out, and we'll make sure they get a little bit of screen time right now.
Now, in the background, Manning just ran really wide in 130R again, so we know that's 2 track cuts, because he was off. He was way off. So that's 2 that we know he's working with, and we might not have seen some others. So he's going to have to stay a little more conservative, in my opinion.
Definitely weighs on your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, he can't be. Here's the battle for. There's the one, you got it on the screen right there.
Boy, it's looking more and more like these are going to be our leaders at the end of the race. They're right at the end of that pit gap. If Mercer and Nixon were to pit right now and both do perfect pit stops, they would literally come out with one in between these two and one right behind them.
Thanks, Patches, in the chat. You're a legend.
Never forget.
Come join the chat, everybody.
Yeah, throw something in there. Let's make it a party.
Which is better, the chat or the race? Yes. So, meanwhile, back at the motel, everybody is, lack of better words, everybody just balls out doing what they do best, and we're just sitting here waiting for this cake to come out of the oven.
No doubt. Josh, you got any good statistics for us? You find anything on your race monitor?
I was hoping I was going to come up with some quippy statistic, but no, I don't have anything new or exciting going on over here. Just keeping my eye on the minimal delta changes that we're getting right now, and watching for yellow flags.
Everybody's got what they got right now, and that's kind of what you get at this level. Is there's not a lot of mistakes happening. It's just a matter of watching fast guys do what they do and run perfect laps, as we're seeing, and just waiting, like I say, waiting to see if it's going to be angel food cake or an upside down cake when it comes out of the oven.
I'll tell you what, right now my money is on Nordstrom hanging in there and taking the win on this race, which would be 2 wins in the first 3 races for him. He's looking extremely strong. Hit both him and his teammate in their Porsches this season.
I mean, it's right now it's 35.5 seconds out and about a 35, 36 at best. It's 35, 36 seconds to come in and get out. Those BMWs, I don't know if they know it or not. I don't know if they know the storyline of their own race.
Probably not. It's difficult to gauge that when you're out in front. It's really difficult because you can get so distracted trying to look at so much stuff. Next thing you know, you made a mistake and you've thrown away whatever you're looking at anyway. So.
And not to mention they're very busy. Nordstrom just ran a 442. Mercer ran a 712. So they're catching. It's now down to 35 flat. They're flying. They're absolutely flying in the back.
Yep. And up front, I mean, Mercer just did another very fast lap up there with the 2 minutes and 0.7. But yeah, it's nip and tuck. It's the guys in the back put in a fast one, and the guys out front. But it's like they're right on opposite ends of my race monitor right now too. So I have to just scroll a couple of lines, and I can see both battles.
And we are terribly sorry to all the other guys that worked their tails off and really deserved a lot of screen time. But right now we've got a story to tell.
No doubt.
We love you guys.
We have to have all of you in the race, or there wouldn't be a race, right? We'll
recap everybody on the back half here just a little bit. Majid is in from 10th place.
Okay, yep, he did hit the pits here. Let's get a quick view at him in his Lego flavored car. As he heads down the pit lane as Kerstetter and Nordstrom head out past him. Kerstetter looks like he lost a bit of time here. I'm not really sure what happened. But
Brown and Tomato need to come in.
Yep, Crown, Semedo, Good, Spangler, Dromo, Barrera, Manning, Nixon, and Mercer all still need their mandatory pit stop for the evening. And that is the only reason they are in front of Nordstrom and Kerstetter. Nordstrom now under 35 seconds on that gap to the leader, which would mean even if Mercer did the very best pit stop he could, he would come out behind him.
He sure would. He's going to come out third. Last lap was a 4:27 versus an 8:25. So Nordstrom Kerstetter now running 10th and 11th. First cars out that have cleared their pit stops. Yeah, they're now 34 flat. Oh, they're going to come out a couple of seconds ahead. This story might just be writing itself right in front of us.
I've been watching Kerstetter here for the last couple laps, and he is getting a little more out of control. Definitely looks like he's pushing the car, and his tires are falling off a little bit. He's fallen back just a little bit for Nordstrom. He may, as Josh pointed out earlier, have worked the tires a little bit too hard, being stuck right under Mercer's bumper for the whole first half, and now right behind Nordstrom's bumper for the second half.
Got a feeling you're onto something.
That could open the door for Mercer to slip into second, right behind Nordstrom.
Boy, I tell you, we got seven minutes to go, which is about 5 minutes at the worst before these BMWs have to pit. And it looks like I think they've stayed out too long. Here we go, Samato's in, because now the undercut's going to get them. If they have come in 10 minutes ago, they would have come in and out ahead of the portion, the McLaren.
Yep.
Now they're going to come in and come out behind them.
Yep.
They have let the undercut beat them. I think they should have come in 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have known that.
They couldn't. It's so hard to know it. Yep.
Unless you got a team of guys with laptops on the pit wall, I don't think you could have known it. But they'll go back and they'll find out if they had known it, they could have blocked off that undercut, and they can no longer block it off.
Yeah, they want guys on the pit wall just like we want a camera truck out back, you know.
I want a truck. Can we get a truck?
Yeah, we need some camera directors. Anybody in the chat want to volunteer to be the camera directors?
We need a director. We need a sideline reporter. We need a truck.
Oh, Kerstetter gets deep in the hairpin. He might have, from that angle, he might get a good run here. Man, he is trying everything. He's really throwing it out there now. If he doesn't burn those tires up, he's going to just try to find every way he can around Travis Nordstrom right here.
You know, we talked about the hairpin. We talked about guys who are working up at this level. They're working up the traction control to see if they want to go down. They might be going down to 0 and trying it. They might be going up to 3 and trying it to see if they can either not over rotate on these old tires or whether they need to free it up some. Depends on what you got.
Yeah, that's true. You can play with the settings later in the race and see if the car got lighter. If you could start some more aggressive settings, or if you used up too much tire and you have to go back to less aggressive settings. Boy, Kerstetter is taking so much curb right now. He is literally losing every single piece of that track to try to get a jump on Nordstrom out of every corner. But that Porsche just pulls out so strongly no matter what.
You see, Travis did it right because he was the first to undercut, and so the first loser in all of this was Ed Kerstetter. He got undercut by just the same amount of track you see right now. That's how much real estate he got undercut by, and now we're let's see where we're at now. We're now at 34.3 seconds. The other guys up front, the teammates, are going to find themselves undercut by about the same amount. They're going to come out right behind them. So.
Yep.
What have we learned today?
Undercut.
Suzuka, under freaking cut.
Yeah, I'm going to use that tomorrow night.
I think for me, I'm not running consistent enough laps for it to freaking matter. So Nordstrom's currently running at 8:07. Kerstetter ran a 5:20. These are all 2 flat plus that. Mercer ran a 2:01 flat. Nixon right behind him ran an 8:72. So they're still
slower.
The guys in the back are slightly beating them.
Yep.
And Kerstetter's doing everything he can.
It's funny to me that Kerstetter lap after lap, his lap time is faster than Nordstrom. How is that possible that he lap after lap does a faster lap time but still has not passed him?
Getting that much closer. But well, I say it's like they say in racing, it's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to pass him. If Nordstrom wasn't there, I think Ed could lay down a little bit faster lap time, but he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, Manning is in.
Okay, Michael Manning has the pits.
So
he's coming from third place.
Next lap has got to be the BMWs. They don't have any time. It's 3:22 left in the race, and where are they at? They are
through the S's right now.
Sector 1.
They have to. They have to pit. They might even make it before the. Yeah, they will. They will. They'll make it before the pit window ends, but just barely. They're definitely running to the end.
Spangler in, Good in, Crown in.
All right, the whole top 10 basically comes into the pits.
Here we go. The overcut. The overcutters might be learning a very bad lesson.
Indeed. Let's follow some of these guys as they pit. There's Spangler, who's Kerstetter's teammate. He makes it out of the pit lane.
I am absolutely watching 2 BMWs.
Indeed.
With Pegasus wings on the side.
Crown also making his pit stop. He's falling a little bit further down here. Good. Also made his stop. It comes out. Wow, he's
Here
right
come
there.
the BMWs. To the spoon. They're on the far end of the track.
Good and Tomato are battling it out through the S's as they come out of the pit lane.
There's great battles going on. They're just in the middle.
Yeah, Ziegler also right there in that little train. As they exited the pit lane, it really brought some people together here. Rust, Durant's, Crown also in the mix. Further back, Lehman and Velez have made a pretty close gap here as we take a quick look at them. We're going to come back up top here, though, as Mercer and Nixon are coming to the end of their lap, and they're going to have to enter the pit lane here. Otherwise, they would be disqualified for not completing their mandatory pit stop for the race. Looks like a good entry from Mercer. He's coming down to his pit box. Leaders are in the pit lane. We'll get Kerstetter in our PIP there so we can see where him and Nordstrom come out on the front. Josh, if you'd oblige us with that view, thank you very much. And we should see, almost definitely at this point, them coming through the chicane. Yep. Oh, that looked like it could have been more than a 5-second stop. That might not have been the cleanest one out of Mercer. And unfortunately, that almost guarantees. Yep, it's a done deal at this point, folks.
Promo
Here
in,
comes Nordstrom, and there they go. Bye. There's the lead of the race. Nordstrom surges into your lead, and here we have our battle for first place with Kerstetter throwing everything he's got at the back of that Porsche.
Well, DDR, you called it from the beginning.
Well, I think we tried to call a few things from the beginning. Both of us thought Kerstetter was going to walk away into the nighttime darkness, and he got beat off the line, but he did end up overtaking Mercer with that undercut.
I tell you, the undercut was king.
No doubt.
And we'll never know if in free air what Kerstetter could have done because he never saw any. But I think we know these top four were the class of the field tonight. Michael Manning right stinking behind him. Then a nice group of highly qualified drivers that are going to finish out the top 10. But the undercut was the winner.
No
and
question.
The more you undercut, the better. The time has expired. This is the end of the race. Take us to the end, Josh and Dudley.
Will do. Yeah, we got Josh. You got any insight here? I was just checking the stats. It looks like Nordstrom qualified in 7th and is going to come in to win this race. Any other big movers you see in the field, Josh?
I'm trying to have a look at it here. I mean, we've got Brooker Quigg coming up from 24th to 12th. Ziedler from 22nd to 14th. Vizzini from 31st to 16th. Simmons from 30th to 17th. So there's a lot of big shakeups in the grid, and I mean, whether that's down to getting tangled up in that early incident at the hairpin or down at the chicane, or if that's just down to pit strategy.
Nice.
There it is.
We get a celebratory shake out of our winner, Travis Nordstrom. Ed Kerstetter gave it everything he got, but comes home with a fantastic 2nd place after qualifying on pole. Mercer brings it out and runs out your podium in 3rd, and his teammate right behind him, Nixon, he already found the wall that was after the line, though, folks. He did finish the race. Everything worked out fine. As we round out your top 10 here, we got Manning, Barrera, O'Brien, Dromo. Mr. Sir puts it in 9th place. He gained 3 positions since his qualifying. And Nate Specht finishes out your top 10. Jeff Sprangler just outside your top 10, finishes 11th place. Brooker Quigg, as we talked about, he gained 12 positions from the start and gets a good 12th place finish for him. Your other big gainer back here, Vizzini, he ended up gaining 16 positions throughout the race. That's a fantastic move up the field. And that's it, folks. We got another one in the books. Week 3. Great racing here at the nighttime in Suzuka. And we're going to pull some people into our chat here and see if we can get some interviews with some of these drivers and get their perspective on this race. I'm eager to talk to Ed Kerstetter and see what happened on the start there, if he got a slow jump or if perhaps something else wasn't quite right, and what he thinks he could have done with some free air, perhaps. We're going to flip back over to our intermission screen. That's it, folks. Thanks for being with us tonight, and we are going to get some drivers here and get their point of view. Stick with us, and you'll get to hear what they have to say as well. You see anybody in the chat there yet, Andrew?
Let's see what we've got. There's too much stuff for me to try to figure out these things. Let's see. I do not see anyone yet. I don't. What am I really not seeing anybody?
Nobody wants to talk tonight, huh?
I see Nordstrom. Here we go. You gonna pull him in?
Yeah, let's grab our race winner, Travis Nordstrom.
Race winner's in the chat.
Travis Nordstrom, welcome to the chat. You're in the broadcast booth with us. Great job on the win tonight. Tell us what it looked like from your perspective.
Well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I hit lap 1.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, the undercut.
So I started in 8th. I had a really terrible qualifying, so for me it was like, I'm pretty sure I got pace. I'm just gonna pit lap 1, see if I can, gain this back throughout the whole race. And like I knew, I was I was watching the leader and using like little benchmarks, like, okay, where are they when I go past the finish line? Where are they when I go under this little sign? And I was watching them, and I knew that I was gaining on them. I just didn't know if I was going to be able to overtake them. So yeah, and then after Ed pitted and he came out right behind me, that was really nerve wracking. Just he's such a good driver, and it's so hard to keep him behind. I got kind of lucky that Mercer was holding him back the whole race.
Yeah, fantastic job. Once he did come out behind you, where you were definitely feeling the pressure then.
Oh, for sure.
What advantages did you feel like your Porsche had over the McLaren that you were able to keep that gap so that he wasn't able to get around you?
That's an easy one. Getting out of slow corners.
Yeah.
The hairpin was killing him. I
Yep.
was braking. So the Porsche brakes kind of suck. So I had to brake early, which means he had to brake early, and then I just had so much more traction out of those. So anytime you went for like around the outside, I was, if he was 0.1 second behind before, I was getting out of there with like 0.5 seconds ahead. So that was really the key. But man, he had pace. If I wasn't in front of him, he'd be flying down the road.
Yeah, it looked like he was throwing everything at you there towards the end. He was jumping every
Oh, it was
curve and
tough.
trying
Yeah.
every single thing he could. Great job sticking it out in front of him. Andrew, what do you got for him?
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, half the stuff we said we got completely wrong tonight, but the one thing we did get right, you'll like the commentary, Travis. When we come back when you hear it back, that we started talking about was the undercut, the right move, and we started doing the math and realizing that your strategy absolutely won you the race.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
those that stayed out, and the longer you stayed out, the worse it was. And I don't think the two BMW teammates knew what was happening to them, but you were eating them up, and Dudley was covering it. You were eating them up slowly. It was like eating an elephant. You were just one bite at a time until the crossover happened, and their goose was cooked. And you did it because you never missed. Neither you or Ed missed. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, both of y'all flipped them, and we watched the whole thing unfold in slow motion. And so we learned a lot about your strategy and how you pulled it off. Awesome
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, the main thing for me was consistency. I didn't have a
Mhm.
good I didn't have a good race lap like at the beginning. Some people are pulling
Mhm.
out 159.7s or whatever. My fastest race
Mhm.
lap was like a 2 minute point one or something, and I just kept that the entire race. Maybe 2 minutes
Mhm.
point two, 2 minutes point five. In that range.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
yeah, like that was really the key, was keeping consistent, because I just didn't have like the raw pace of
Mhm.
the other cars. But yeah, that was really what I was focusing on.
That was
Well,
great stuff.
yeah,
That's two.
really great job.
That's 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are you
for
feeling?
sure.
What are you feeling? Chances are next week.
Oh man, I don't know. It's been so long since I've done a rain race, and you never know what to expect with those. I'm, this race looked good, but I'm like the Ferrari strategist, where every once in a while I get it right, but most of the time I get it wrong. So if there's any sort of like changing weather in the rain race, expect to see like a Ferrari strategy from me.
Okay. All right. We'll be
You did-
prepared for that. But great job tonight, man. Like Andrew said, you got two out of the three races have been yours in the victory circle, and you're doing a great job this season. So keep it up.
Thank you, guys.
We'll send you back to your chat.
There you go. I'll bring in Ed. Ed is in the chat.
Ed Kerstetter. Hey, man. It looked like it was a challenging race for you out there. Explain to us. We saw you off the start. Looks like Mercer got the best of you there, and then you were kind of on the hind foot, constantly had a bumper in your face. How did it look from your perspective?
Yeah, lots of rear bumper. I way back I got a drive through off a pole in an endurance race here, and I didn't speed. And ever since then, I've been like super cautious
Mm.
in pole position, and I left too much of a gap, and he did a good job getting around and then closing the door. And then yeah, it was just full of rear bumpers the entire time. I could not make it past to save my life.
Yeah, it looked tough. Do you feel like the added 10 kilograms in your McLaren there was making the overtakes a little bit tougher to get around the BMW and the Porsche?
I no, not so much the ballast. I think it was I decided to go with a high downforce, a lot of rear wing. and which would have been great if I was out in front. But behind somebody, I just couldn't. Even if I got a good run out of the corners before the long straights, I couldn't gain any time. I would lose maybe half a tenth or a tenth. I think
Yeah,
that's
we
what did me in.
yeah, we kept seeing that. But at the same time, once you were behind Nordstrom there, headed into 130R, it seemed like you kept getting a run out of them,
Mhm.
out of Spoon there. Do you feel like you were just getting a really good run out of Spoon, or how were you? Was it at the higher speeds the McLaren would start to catch up? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, he would like just Porsche the thing. He would pull on the initial exit, and I only was able to get close on initial or closer on initial exit when he slipped, and I had a good exit. And there was a 2 or 3 times there where about halfway up that hill we would even out, and then the last I don't know 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters before 130R, I'd really start catching them. But at that point, it wouldn't have been a smart move to try any sort of aggressive thing going into 130R. So I did try to get him set up in the last chicane with
Mm,
Casco Triangle a few times. But same thing happened. Like I'd get real close, and even if he slipped, I would lose time eventually down the straightaway, and that straight just wasn't long enough for me to pull. So there were a couple opportunities there where I could have probably thrown it in, but it would have been a little too aggressive and you know not great when you're thinking long term.
for sure. Yeah, it looks like you were getting definitely using every piece of the track there towards the end. We saw you getting a lot of the curbs and trying everything you could. Andrew, what questions you have for Ed?
Just wondering if you wished you had pitted a little earlier because Nordstrom was just crawling up the leaderboard, and I think if you'd have pitted about two laps earlier, you'd have come out ahead of him because he had clean air, and I bet that's what we were watching, and of course the two leaders they didn't see what you guys were doing, and y'all ate them up. But how do you feel about the undercut? Do you think maybe a couple of laps earlier or?
Yeah, I mean, and hats off to Travis there. He ran a fantastic race, and
Mm,
he didn't mess up. Like, there were a couple
yeah.
times where I was like, "Oh, please slip a little bit or get the grass a little bit," give me a chance. But he ran a great race, and it was the right call for the undercut. I during the practice race, I think he pit first lap,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did.
and he was back in like 8 or 9. So fantastic, fantastic idea. I was running during the practice race. I saw that like we were catching traffic, so I was a bit
Mm-hmm.
concerned that like a lot of the guys would catch up, and then he would have to pass traffic. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I was weighing, oh well, if I can get around, I was definitely faster than Mercer.
Hmm.
Again, I just couldn't pass. If I can get around him, then I'd leg him. But it
Mm-hmm.
just never happened. And then I got to a point where I was like, oh, it's gonna be real close. And yeah, a lap or two sooner, I probably would have got him. So if I could
I'll
redo
tell you,
it, that would have been it.
Hard to
well, I'll tell
call
you,
from there, right?
well, he got
Yeah.
really fortunate with no traffic. And the one piece of traffic he got, we said, "Oh, he's got to pass that guy." It was Velez in the McLaren, and I mean, as soon as he got to him, he put the Casio triangle on him.
Oh yeah.
And first chance he had, he's gone.
Check
He's like,
that
"Well,
replay back, Ed. You're gonna like that pass.
yeah." He put it on him, and he was gone. And all of a sudden, he had no problems, nobody holding him up, and you were in the middle of a BMW sandwich, and he just, boy, did he did it right, and he executed it. And so, but otherwise, that's what it took because all four of y'all had perfect races, and that's what it took. But another flawless performance on your end. Holy cow!
Minus a pit strategy. But yeah,
You
but
couldn't
no,
have
I
known.
appreciate it.
Could,
Thanks.
couldn't have known. You can only work with what you know, and that's. I think next week all the drivers in D1 need to have a group of guys with laptops on their pit wall,
Yeah,
so they
we need a camera truck to cover all the action too.
I think I gotta hire a spotter or something. Then maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, I tell you, that's as high a level as you guys are at. Y'all practically need one to
Yeah.
do what you're trying to do because y'all have reached that level that it's darn near this. Last week the same thing. You slipped in front of the leaders last week at the very end, right in front of them, and I don't think you knew that you had 1 second to spare. If you had team of guys and laptops that could have told you that. But y'all are at that. Y'all have reached that place. Holy cow! That's
Thank,
our
I
word of
do
the
have to
day
give
is.
credit. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Our word of the day is holy cow. How do y'all do it?
Yeah.
There are some ACC Drive has a little pit prediction that you can use to kind of estimate. So it's not all we. I don't know who runs it, but it was close. I think when I decided to pit, I think it was showing me like 2 seconds behind, and that was probably because I configured it to be a little bit conservative.
Yeah.
So there are ways to like take a look, but you never know. Like, oh, is this track like programmed right? Like, is
Yeah.
it correct? And then the UI sort of lags. So,
Yeah. And
but yeah,
I mean, he definitely just barely snuck into T1 ahead of you. So it was close.
yeah, it was all in the braking. Like as soon as I saw he was ahead, I didn't want to rear end him. So like I kind of took it a little conservative. I think maybe a half second, and we would have been side by side. And then that inside there is pretty strong.
For sure.
And I think I would have got him, but yeah, one or two laps too late, unfortunately.
Well, great race anyway, man. You've put yourself in a great position in the championship here with some strong finishes right off the bat, and we look forward to seeing more of you this season. What are your thoughts on next week's race?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Haven't really run Valencia all that much, and then we have the rain on top of it. I do like rain races. At least I did last season with Holton, it was Olton, I think,
Yeah,
running it.
Olden Park. Yep.
So definitely have to brush up though on Valencia since I think I've only run there like 2 or 3 times. So
Well,
Good stuff.
should be fun, man. Again, congrats on another podium finish, and keep up the good work. We're gonna let you get back to the race chat and break things down, and we'll talk to some other folks. Have a great night, man.
sounds good. Hey guys, thanks too. And I know I've been talking for a while, but
Yeah.
really enjoy going back watching the broadcast last week. Was
Cool.
phenomenal. I love the little intro segment. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are awesome.
Thanks,
Hey,
man. You're gonna really love this coverage too. It was a great race to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. Thanks, guys.
You got it. Hey, let's see if we can bring in in Jeremy.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
ready? There he goes.
Hey, Jeremy
Bob.
Mercer, welcome to the booth tonight, man. We saw you get into the podium finish there. Congrats on your podium finish. What did the
Yeah,
race look like from your perspective?
well, I knew going in that there were a few people who were probably faster than me, and so I was kind of surprised to be in the lead and after turn one. So my goal was to defend.
Yeah. How did that all transpire for you we got Ed's take on it. I'd love to hear your take on the start. How did you take the lead away from him there?
I basically just on the start, I was at the front of my box, and when it gave me the 70, I kept it at 70, and then I noticed even before the green light went that he was a bit behind me, and then when I started, I was already ahead. So
Yeah, that was quite the jump
Yeah.
into T1, and once you had the inside on T1, I mean, you definitely stayed in front of him. Did you feel the pressure from him behind there for the first half of the race?
I knew for the whole time he was behind me that he could do better laps than me. I could tell, especially in sector one, like even if he was like half a second back in sector one, he'd be on my tail.
Yeah.
Tell you, don't discount a whole lot of that. We were, but the whole race, we loved everybody, but it was you and Nixon, and it was Nordstrom Kerr Center, and the undercut happened, and they were on one side of the track, and y'all were on the other side of the track, and you had to watch both. So we were watching the lap times, and it was virtually the same. For the last 40 minutes, that delta didn't change, but maybe a second and a half over the whole delta. So yeah, you're virtually as fast as anybody. Y'all two are as fast as anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Great job on
Yeah.
that. Did you try to estimate the pit strategy? Like, at what point, or did you ever know that you were going to be coming out behind Nordstrom and Kerstetter after your pit, or did you think, I still got this?
I suspected. I knew from the very beginning that Nordstrom was fast, and I saw he pit at lap one.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really make sense for me to pit to cover that off, since I knew Kerstetter would just run away with it anyway.
Yeah.
So I stayed out. When Kerstetter pit, I was pretty confident at that point if I pit, I'd heat cycle my tires and I would be a lot slower. And I was not sure if the same thing would happen to his car. And I figured it would be more difficult to defend that way than if I just stayed out till the end.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Once it was done, it was done. But that's what we keep talking about in this series, and with you guys at the level y'all are at, that you're dealing with perfection, and there's no mistakes, there's no people having wide variances in their lap times, and it makes it really easy to call y'all's race because you do it perfect. And so yeah, once the first undercut happened and then the second undercut happened, it would have been tough to block that off. You just had to do what you had to do, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps I would have a better chance if I covered it off and then just continued trying to defend against Kerstetter. I think it's likely. Did Nordstrom already have him by the time he pit?
that Nordstrom just
Yeah.
barely snuck ahead of him coming out of the pit. I mean, it was super close. They came out of the pit lane and they drag raced into T1, and Nordstrom was able to pinch down on the inside and keep him out, but it was really close.
But what we were watching, it was about a 36-second or so pit delta, and when they both had pitted and were chasing each other, they were about 36 seconds behind y'all, and then they crept it up to 35, and they finally crept it up into the high 34s, and we knew at that point the race had flipped, and so there's no way you could have known that. But it took forever for them to do it, but the undercut seemed to work. But yeah, we were just watching a tale of two races. And it was fun to watch it all play out. And I don't think you could have done anything different. And you're both fast as heck. You and Nix were both fast as heck. That was I would say the whole thing finished with on a blanket over all four of you. So that's how good all four of y'all were.
Yeah, I knew that they were probably faster than me, and I did my best. But third is still a very good result, so I'm happy with it.
Oh, it was a great race by all four of y'all. So if there's any justice in the world, we'd get Dixon in here as well because y'all are awesome teammates tonight.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, fantastic drive, man. We'll let you get back to the race chat. And what's your thoughts, real quick? What's your thoughts on next week's race?
A wet Valencia, right?
Yes.
Actually, this is 2 weeks from now, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're taking. That's right. We're taking the break for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I like Valencia a lot, and I like rain races too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Well, we'll look for you there, man. Congrats again on a podium finish, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks.
Great race. Take us home, guys.
All right, we just gotta move him back out. Perfect. Yeah. Well, Josh, what's your thoughts? Closing thoughts on the race?
As per usual, Division 1's provided everything we thought that it would be and more. And yeah, I mean, Suzuka shows you that no matter how much you think you've got in preparation, you're really not that set until you get out there and try and do something. And even then, it's luck of the draw with pit strategy and things like that. So, a great race for a Tuesday night.
Very much, very much. We saw the power of that undercut, Andrew. You got anything more to say about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you on the prowess of the geniuses here in the booth. Let's talk about our admissions of guilt. I had Gomer Wilson, and sure enough, he was fast in qualifying. Race didn't work out for him as well as he'd like for it to. I thought Ed Kerstetter was going to run out and leave everybody. Boy, was I wrong there. So, anyways, like I say, our crystal ball was in the shop. But what we did, I think what's great is that we got to watch professional drivers, like we've been talking about for the last hour. I know we're a broken record. We got to watch professional drivers do what they're all capable of doing with great consistency, and it makes it really easy to look ahead and be able to bring to the audience what's about to happen, because everybody in the chat saw it too, and everybody got to watch it, and we were just fortunate enough to get to talk about it and be front and center in the front row of all this great driving, and I can't wait to go watch another one.
Yeah, fantastic race tonight. Thanks for being with us in the chat. Thanks for watching us on the Twitch stream. Thank you, Andrew Anderson. Thank you, Josh Damani. Thanks for being in the booth with me tonight. And with that, we're going to close out our broadcast here. We got a few other people to thank, and we just got to get that out of the way. So huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as the support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And we have support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And we also have a big thank you going out to our affiliates. Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. And RM Ontario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced heads-up display to change the way you experience ACC. And also to Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. Use our affiliate link on the Discord and take your drive to the next level. Thanks again for Andrew Anderson and Josh Damani with me in the booth tonight. Thank you for tuning in and chatting with us in the race chat. And we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Bye, Felicia.